Hello YouTubers and Sketchuppers. This is another video on rendering in Sketchup. I'm using a plugin called Brighter 3D, and it is one exciting piece of software. I've been searching for a rendering package and I've tried loads. I've tried online servers, farm serving rendering, and quite expensive packages which are hard to learn, and they kind of give a grainy result. But you can see in this photograph here, this was done in about not a photograph, image. It was done in about 3-4 minutes in total. That's drawn it up. So what I'm endeavoring to do now is to redo this and make a better job, and at the same time I can introduce you to brighter3d.com. Basically, if you go there, please back this guy who's developing this on his own. He's got a great product, and we just need a few people to be shown interest in it, buy it, test it out, take it for a run, give him the money and the backing to develop this further. He's going to go a long way with this. We just need people to get behind him. So with that said, let's go to our SketchUp program. And what I've done here is I've created a room with a ceiling, some walls and a floor, and I've put in this obstacle here, or this obstacle, this object. I'm going to use that for lighting. So let's do our Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to show you some tips here just to make it interesting in modeling. I am going to draw a square. That's exciting. And as you can see, I've got my face, I've got two sides of my faces already set up in styles. I've got a red and a white, and I put my back faces red so I can turn them around. When you're doing rendering, you have to have the faces all facing the camera, and the back faces have to be all facing away or internally. So let's put in 50 for the height of that. And 50. So we've got our cube, and let's zoom in here now. Now I'm going to select the whole thing. That's it selected, and then I'm going to add a round to it. So just pull down that bar and click on the bar and click OK. So I've got a rounding edges program. It's called Round Corners. It's a plugin in SketchUp. Stick it in there and it'll do the work for you. So that's done. Now I can move on. I'm on this surface here, and what I'm going to do is show you little tips here. This is a new feature that's in SketchUp 2015. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep away from the rounds by 1 mil and then by 3 mil. I'm going to have 3 mil. I'm going to put 3 mil corners on my labels. So the reason I put that second 3 mil offset is it just saves me doing construction lines instead of drawing lines down and making a guide. You'll see what I mean in a second. So I'm going to click on here. If I zoom in close, you'll see I'm just going to use that as a reference point. I click once, go to my second point. Sorry, I actually must have clicked on that first. Click once, go to my reference, or to my other side, and double click, and you see it removed the corner for me. So there's no need for guidelines. So I'm recording here, so it's a wee bit jumpy. So if I go up, click, double click, come down on the bottom one, reference across, just highlight it, come across, click, and when it turns magenta or green there, we're at the right position on the corner to double click, and that takes out the corner. And now all I have to do is double click that, including the edge, press delete. So that was quite quick. Now I don't want to repeat the same process because I know this is the exact same on this side here, these corners, this whole label. So a little tip here for you is if I zoom in and I highlight this surface, I can hover my mouse over the corner, click Control to make a copy. See a little plus sign comes up, then I can click and start to move, and all I have to do is line it up with that corner over here and click, and it's done. Again, I'm going to pick it up, little plus sign, and then I'm going to zoom over here to the back corner and click, and that's that done. Now we're going to add some colors. Now I don't know if you've seen that before, but that was quite fast. I'm going to add in I like a yellow. Actually, make that one yellow, and I'm going to add in a dark blue, and let's get a red. Okay. And now I'm going to add in this white area in here. I'm going to make that dark. So just going to add in this grey colour here. I'm going to hold my control key down and then click. That should, well, it should have picked up. I think I had the surface highlighted. So that's all ready to go. And now I'm going to add a little bit of depth to my labels. So I'll just go 0.5, and I can double click on these surfaces so they all come out. Now that's my first cube. I'm going to group that. Actually, make it a component, and I'm going to duplicate that back that direction to 51 mil times 2. That gives me copies, and now I can select those copies and duplicate them. Now if you notice here, when I click on the red surface to pick it up, I don't click in the middle, I click to the side and I start my surface in that direction. If I press the control key as I move, it leaves a copy and creates a new copy. So type in 51 and then I times that by 2, and that's my first layer of my cube done. So let's get moving this layer up the ways. So select that and move it up the way. So again, we're doing the same thing. Press Control, start to move along the yellow surface. Type in 51 times 2, and that's the Rubik's cube done. Next part of this is I'm going to make the top section unique, and I'm going to group it while I'm at it, and I'm going to give it a little spin. Actually, you notice that I picked up two layers of cubes, so I'm going to have to explode that again. Come around here, make that unique and make it a group. Okay, now I'm going to give this a spin. So you can put your mouse roughly over the center. You can measure this out. I'm just doing it rough, so I'm just going to give it a little spin there to add a bit of character to the image, bit of movement. And now we're going to go in to the bottom. The reason I made the top ones unique, I'm going to change the bottom ones, and so that will save me. To get rid of that, and now you can see that the bottom ones are all changed in the center, so the cube looks better. So there's our finished Rubik's cube. Now we're going to add rendering to it, and we use the brighter 3D rendering toolbar. So this is an amazing program. I'm going to show you what it can and can't do here. There's not much it can't do, but there's some buttons on it. This button here is for reversing faces. So if I was to draw a surface, it's red there, and if I was to use this and click on it, it reverses the face. So that's what that's for. When you're doing rendering, you want all your faces to be in the right orientation. You want the front faces facing the camera. So let's move on. We know what that button's for. The first button is for clicking and playing and activating the rendering. The middle button is the special one. It's for applying reflections and textures, etc. to the model. So I want to put a reflection on the floor. So I hover my cursor over the floor, click select, up comes this window, and that picks the color that I put on the floor. And I am going to add this reflection to the floor, 24, so it's already done there, so maybe just change it a little bit and say apply. And now I can apply a texture to the yellow. I'm going to apply, it's already got a reflection on it, surprising. Click apply, and the blue, click apply, and the red, sorry, click apply. So we've got applied reflections in them all. Now I'm going to apply a predefined texture to the center piece, the black center core of the Rubik's Cube. And here I'm going to use a predefined texture. So if I go over here and click here, there's some predefined settings over here. So I want black plastic, so I zoom down, I click black plastic, and maybe we just put a little tiny bit of reflection on it, click apply. So that's all our rendering done now. I'm going to hit the one thing I have to set up, it's not our rendering done, but all our settings done. So I'm going to set up a light source, and here we click this, and I'm going to apply this as a light. So I click this button here. If it's material, I click light. Now it becomes a light, and I can change the source and power of it. And you can see that there. See if I put more light in here, you see it gets brighter over here. So I'm just going to go back to 30 there. Okay. So click apply. So click render now. I'm going to start to render my image. So I'm going to stop that a second and wanted to zoom in a wee bit. So that's my screenshot. You could set up a scene for this, so you can quickly zoom to the same scene shot every time. I want to come in a bit further. So that would be our image. So let's click render and start. That other image you seen was one I did earlier, one that I had in the oven. So here we go. This here is the exposure button. It's actually a wheel, so you can move it left or right, and that increases the darkness and the exposure. You see where you get some nice effects there, and you can already see it's rendering, and it's only been rendering what 10 seconds, and look, the image is almost brilliant to use for a website or anything. So here there's a couple of ways of controlling this button. You can move your mouse wheel left or up and down and it changes it, or you can drag it left and right, and if you right click on it, it brings it back to 0. So that's right clicking, zeros is out. So here we've almost got a perfect image. It's a bit bright here, but that's actually quite a nice effect. I can zoom in and out of this image, and let's zoom out a wee bit, and then we'll change this just to see if we can tweak it a wee bit more. So that's looking amazing now already as it is. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we can go here, go back into our, close that down. It's still rendering, and go back into our texture apply button, and the image will come up here on a preview window, and I can zoom in on that and see, drag this around, it's updating, and see here you can see right in close. I can zoom in with my mouse wheel, and maybe I've gone too far there. Now you can see the textures that you're getting quite up close, and I can adjust those textures now by changing these. Let's take this yellow one example. If I change the color here, drag that across, I can get a different tone on the sticker there, as you can see. Let's move it right across, and you can see I switch off reflection completely and see what happens. So you get a dead flat green, no reflection. And let's shove that back again. You see what's happening? Turn that back over to here. And then get a deep blue. Let's bring a red over here. And you can see you can adjust your colors here. So let's just get back to where we were, yellow. You can mess here now as well with this diffusion. Let's put a wee bit more reflection back on again, and mess with these roughness settings. So let's move it right up so you can see a difference. you can see it's a bit more darker here. So you can also click this Fresnel button if you know what that's about. It kind of gives a little kind of curve in your reflections. And I'm going to zoom out a wee bit here. Turn my wheel just to back off. And you can see the reflections there and getting some nice results. So I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to pick the, let's see if I can pick up on that grey black plastic. Now let's just, for the sake of it, move up the reflection, see if you can see anything here. And see here, you get a much more glossier effect. So that's that. I'll apply that and I'll render it. Just check the render again now, and now it'll re-render. So as it's doing that, I can zoom back in again there. And now let's just watch and enjoy the image coming through. It'll probably take about 10 seconds. You'll keep seeing it improving. And now you can adjust the lighting effects around about. So there we have. Now I see a little bit of red coming through here because my I'm going to stop that and just give it a little spin so it'll get back into focus. So let's just zoom in there and make those two unique. And I can go in here and push, pull. Where's the push, pull? That down flat, and then color that back in. So that's that done. And now just take another render, and we'll do the shot this time about there. And that'll probably take about 30 seconds to get a decent image. And we'll leave the video at that. Now, I hope you really would go and purchase this and get a bit of backing. This guy needs a bit of funding. This is why I'm doing this video. I want to encourage people to push this on because I don't want the guy to lose heart and not pursue this, because I think once this gets known about, I think he'll do well, and it also will help people create lovely images for all their projects and websites and modeling. So there we have it. That's image. Just let it render, and it'll keep getting better. Let's turn up the light a wee bit. So you can mess around there. You can get different effects. Make it darker. And obviously, I'm not doing everything here correct. There's you can get better results once you know. If I was to lift this off the ground a little bit, let's just do that for the sake of it. We'll stop that and lift the model off the ground a couple of mil. Make that a group, and I can move that up and then render that. So we get start. And it all depends too where you put your lighting source, from what angle you're pointing to get different reflections. And you see there, that's a better already by lifting it off the ground a little bit. You get a nicer look. Just let that render. Just the exposure there a little bit. zoom out so you can see. And that is just one excellent job. Okay, so I don't want the video to be too long. As you can see, it'll keep coming into focus, getting better. And you can see there's a nice clean up, nice clean image. Much better than the original image. You can see it's got more detail, got nicer edges, more realistic. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please visit brighter3d.com and give this a try. There's a free trial there. Obviously the images don't render to full definition on the free trial, but once you get used to this program, you'll be flying and you'll buy the full version. Thank you for watching.